Creed 3 is the last film in the Creed trilogy, as well as the 9th film in the Rocky franchise. This is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. It also stars him, Jonathan Majors, and Tessa Thompson, as well as some other names you've seen in the past few movies. And the Rocky franchise has been one of my favorite franchises for a good portion of my life, and I love the Creed movies especially, so I was beyond excited. This was top 5 most anticipated movies of the year, but this one does seem to be dividing people, so stick around to see what I think of it. As I said, I've been a massive fan of the Rocky Creed franchise, really the Rocky franchise, for a solid, like a great amount of my life. I love all the films except for number 5. I will have a ranking in a few days, but we're talking about Creed 3 today. So going into this one, I had heard a few things, people being like, oh, I love this, or, oh, you know, it's a little bit disappointing, but anytime I hear that, I'm like, I know that I'm going to have a different opinion. I don't read or watch any reviews before, I just see the posts here and there, but still, I really enjoyed this one. I don't think it's as good as the previous two. There are some clear faults with this movie. Some stuff I won't go into because it definitely goes into spoiler territory, and certain things here that you may have heard about, may not have, that I just am not going to mention just because it would be unfair to you guys, but I like this one quite a bit. I really want to talk about Michael B. Jordan's direction. So I was super excited to see him here because he seems very passionate about these films, and he's been just fantastic actor for, yeah, ever since I first saw him, which is probably in the first Creed movie. I still need to watch Fruitvale Station, but Creed 1 is just this such a good, intense, like great kind of comeback movie almost, even though Rocky Balboa is still great. But the fights in that movie, they're smooth, a lot of them are done in one take, there isn't a lot of cutting, and it all feels very real. And then, you know, the last fight being kind of shot like something you'd see on TV, that's what I'll say. And then you have Stephen Cable Jr. with Creed 2, and it's still very smooth, but you get a little bit of roughness here and there. There's a few POV shots, which I'm not too keen on POV, but it's a different direction. I really like this one. Now Michael B. Jordan has taken it and made it the most rough. I mean, the punches here are probably the most like loud and like, I was going to say punchy, but they sound like they hurt. And I noticed that within the first 10-20 minutes of this film. I was like, okay, they're hitting hard here, and you can really hear it, you can almost feel it. But Michael B. Jordan also does something smart where he uses a lot of shallow close-ups, like really shallow close-ups. Now, there are some moments here where some of the stylized fighting doesn't exactly work for me. There is something in the third act which is a good idea, but it goes on for a bit too long. If you've seen the film, you definitely know what I'm talking about. And I've heard some people complain about the fighting style. I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part. It is very quick cut, and there were a few times where I had to figure out, okay, you're the person who threw that punch. But still, I thought for the most part it was very good. It was very intense. It really hooked me in. Again, people will always complain when actors go and direct movies, especially movies that they star in, but I thought he did a great job. I really am excited to see what he does next. And as for acting, I mean, he is really fantastic here. This film deals with a lot of trauma, especially coming up from the past. If you know the basic plot, you know that's kind of what this movie is about. And I thought the way that he just portrayed this was so real, so subtle for the most part. I mean, Creed 2 is definitely, for me at least, the saddest film in the entire Rocky franchise. It's incredible, but it is very sad at times. This one is sad in a different way, and it's more explosive than that last one, but it's still good because it feels realistic. It feels contained enough to be realistic. I thought Michael B. Jordan was great. I thought Tessa Thompson, once again, just perfectly fits that dynamic. She's just so great. She really helps balance out Adonis Creed, especially in the movie, like character-wise. And then, of course, we have Jonathan Majors coming here. This is really his year. He's definitely getting paid a lot this year, that's for sure, but he's great. He is so good as Dame. We can call him Diamond Dame, whatever you want to call him, but he is such a good villain here because it fits with the rest of the movie. It fits with the trauma thing because he was there when Adonis was young. It really helps with this because we have the first Creed film where he's just trying to make a name and he's just fighting. Then we have the second one with, you know, a Drago, so that one's going to be pretty heavy. But what do they do with the third one? Well, you bring up his rough childhood. It's smart. It works great. There are moments here where some of Some of the execution isn't exactly what I wanted, but it's one of those movies that really is going to divide people. I think for the most part, it's very good. It is just under 2 hours. The movie flies by. It doesn't have every single thing you expect from a Rocky film. Like, it doesn't have all the training montages, but it really does have emotional moments here. There were a few times where it kind of lost me a bit. I think maybe if they shortened down a few points and actually added on to one specific storyline that is introduced in the first act and then just completely forgot about it, I think that if they built onto that, it would have been a little bit more impactful. But still, Creed 3 is a great film. As I said, it does lack a little bit of something in particular. You'll know what I mean if you've seen it. But if this is the last film in the Rocky franchise, I think they went out with a bang. Creed 3 is another knockout from this series. Michael B. Jordan delivers in front and behind the camera with an emotional direction. This film does lack one key factor, but for the most part, it was made up for by the exploration of how past trauma can always come back to haunt you. This one will divide people, so it's worth seeing for yourself. I'm going to give Creed 3 a 4 out of 5. Again, as I said, I've seen so many different opinions on it. Some people love it, think it's amazing. Some people were disappointed by it. I don't think I was disappointed. I think it's solid. I think it's better than a few of the previous Rocky movies, but I will have a ranking of that soon, as well as a fun ranking of the Rocky training montages, including the Creed ones, obviously, as well. So look out for those videos in the next few days. But if you have seen Creed 3, let me know what you think of it down below. Don't spoil certain things for people because there is something specific that some people won't know. But thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time. Over and out.